Hey, what is going on? I literally was chuckling to myself behind the scenes. One, because I never know what the music is going to be like. I don't really have a standard one. I just pick what I pick. But then two, I had to answer a question from one of our sales superstars because as usual, when the competition starts, the panic sets in as well.
It does. It does.
So we about to dig right on into this conversation about how competition drives money, how competition gets to the bag. We're gonna give you some behind the scenes secrets on our recent Sales Superstar Academy that kicked off 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
All of the fun stuff that's happening behind the scenes, the fears, the challenges, but the money being made at literally as we speak.
And you know what? And we'll introduce ourselves in a second. If y'all know who you are by now, then you should stop watching. Just saying. The one thing that I would tell you is like, we have these first 2 weeks in our academy that gets people like, it's almost like ready and set.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Chanel is all in there like, oh, hey. Okay. Chanel's in there.
Nice, Donna.
Chanel's in there like, okay, y'all got to set your audience. You got to get your audience ready. We're getting people on top of their big power promise. And on top of that, teaching them their sales skills. And they're calling Doug to get the mindset right, and I'm teaching them the actual like methodology. And then we get to week 3. And all of a sudden it goes from ready, set to go.
Yeah.
And a whole different set of people show up. Did y'all notice that?
Yeah. And what's funny for me is like over the first 2 weeks, people think that no, I'm gonna say actually week 2. This is where I see the biggest transformation so far. Week 1, they come in and they're like, what are they gonna tell me? I know how to sell. I'm selling, I have an offer, I have an audience. And then they realize that yes, they do have an offer that could be optimized. They do have an audience, but it's probably not their dream signature audience. And then when they start learning a better way of creating conversions, by week 2, I feel like panic starts to set in. And they're like, I got to burn everything down because the way that I was doing it is not the way that I want to continue doing it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
week 2 is like that when reality kind of sets in like, oh, okay. This what we got going on. Okay.
And then week 3 comes in our class last night, and all of a sudden we announce the team leaders, and then we choose the teams. And now it's like all these different personalities show up because competition kicks in, and some people lean a little out and some people lean like way in. And it's like, oh, this is getting really fun and exciting now. But the energy level just goes from here, and all of a sudden, boom, it's like up here, and it's like game on now.
People literally go to everybody else like, well, we're the winning team. Hey, Team Savvy, just so y'all know, and we don't lose. And then Sarah was like, and I've never lost in Monopoly, so
right, I forgot about that.
She's like, I hope y'all enjoy second place because it's on. But what I love is like everybody suddenly was like, oh no, now we're really stepping like before with most classes. So let me go ahead and talk my shit. With most classes, you're gonna watch a video, right? You're gonna have someone answer your questions from that video. You're gonna take some notes. And those notes and all that information can live and die on a piece of paper. Live and die right there on that board. Don't go anywhere. Never get used. You got people who hope they're going to make more money. You got people who learn how to make more money. But then in ours is different because it's literally on the job training.
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of the Sales Superstar Academy is like you learn, you do, but you do it immediately. So you're doing it in the session, but then you are off to the races and doing it on your own, applying it in your business, literally tweaking and moving and doing it as you go versus learning 6 weeks worth of content and then going to apply it. But by the time you have questions, by the time that the class is over, you're like, well, I got questions on module 3. Well, module 3 goes long and gone, right? So the way that we do it is very hands-on, very it's very strategic in that way, but extremely hands-on, so that you can learn something, but then do it, but then come back with the questions in real time, so that you are seeing results in your business.
Yeah. And what I really like is that you start hearing, okay, so y'all gonna hear some strange words right now, like bat signal, right? So you'll hear that's what our framework is. And if you don't know, take a class. So what happens is that people go, I hear the bat signal everywhere now. I can see it in videos. I can see it on television. I can see, like, now I hear it everywhere. I really recognize it. So that's number one. So that first 2 weeks is like being aware of it and then recognizing the power of it everywhere. Like everywhere someone's making money, you're like, there's the bat signal. There's the FyreSavvy bat signal. I heard a bat signal. And now all of a sudden they're hyper aware of it.
Hyper aware of it, hyper aware of when it's being done in a good way. But then also hyper aware when they're like, nah, like this not how this works. This is you are not selling to me in a way that is a conversational way or feels curious on your part. So they know when it's working, but they also can sense when it's not working as well.
It's not working.
I love those calls too. Like I got one the other night from Crystal because she had a call the next morning and she's like, okay, now I know the bat signal here and here and here, but help me transition to that money piece. Like when we're talking about this or we're talking about that. So then it was kind of getting into some of those nuances already. And we weren't even at our third class yet. And I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. Because then those juices really start flowing.
This is what I like. I'm glad you brought that up, Doug, because this is what we kind of work through. Because some people are probably watching. They're like, well, you can get a sales framework anywhere. You can just download it and get the framework. But what the Academy does, because when we sell high ticket offers, high impact, high touch offers, it is those little nuances, the difference between a tone or the eye contact or the inflection in the question that makes all the difference. And so you can do a download or just take one of those basic kind of courses, but you won't learn the nuances that are necessary to really be able to take a high ticket client, a very discerning client, and create that curiosity in a conversation that they want to be a part of your program.
I agree with that, Chanel. I think that is so awesome. And it reminds me too of what Donna has been emphasizing too, is that you cannot take a low ticket mindset into a high ticket conversation. Those two things are just not compatible. So we've spent some time talking about mindset, and I love what Donna shared last night in terms of like, what mindset are you bringing to the conversation?
Yeah. Well, the whole theme that Donna came up with is act as if.
Yeah, that was fun, right? That was fun. Like, what is your, who is your Sasha Fierce? And how do you show up as your Sasha Fierce? What outfit are you wearing? What lipstick are you putting on? How are you doing your hair differently? What colors are you wearing differently, right? I might not show up in pastels when I'm in my Sasha Fierce mode, right? I might I might not wear my round glasses. I might wear my red glasses. It's a different thing because all of that external energy impacts your internal energy. Yeah. And that's what we wanted them to really recognize, like, no, we need you to step into your badass.
Yeah.
We take off the loafers and put on the red bottoms, like across the board.
Yeah. And doing it in a way, because, I'm really big on, okay, let's celebrate the future wins. Where are we going to be 90 days from now? Where are we going to be 6 months from now? Okay, 6 months from now, if you knew what you say you wanted and it's happening, how are you going to act today? Are you walking into that room confident? Are you walking into that room like the badass you are? Or are you walking into the room like you are today? No, we want you to walk into the room like you are your 6-month-old self, your year from now self. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Sarah said, I love when y'all talk mindset. It's tangible things and not just think yourself into success. We're like, no, we don't know. And I know everybody says, believe things, thoughts change actions. However, the reverse is true as well. Sometimes you have to act as if to believe you are a badass.
Right.
You have to put on the outfit. You have to, put on the heels. You gotta comb your hair a certain way and put on certain things. You gotta look in the mirror and be like, okay, I see you.
Right.
And then walk in and be like, one of the things that I say all the time is like, people are always like, make space in the room, make space in the room. I'm like, no, walk in and make sure the room expands for your presence. The room needs to change because you're there. Nobody needs to make space for you. You're still relying on somebody else. No, the room will make space by virtue of the fact that you walked in. And then so what you need to do is walk in bigger than you've ever walked in before.
Right. Yeah. And the key phrase with our phrase for the challenges. Bless you. One word that I really want to highlight is to act. Because there is no thinking. You got to think, but then you got to move. You got to think, but you got to act. You got to think, you got to take action. Act is an action word. It's a verb. You have to act as if. You got to act as if.
Right.
I love the door. Yes, you got to act as if.
I think one of the things that you two do an amazing job of that I hear a lot of feedback from too is like when you were talking last night about people don't want just better. They want different. And you two do an amazing job of helping people step into that fuller version of themselves and don't be afraid to be different. You want to be different because that's what being a unicorn is all about. And I love how you two always emphasize that.
And I'll be the first one to say to anybody when I tell them I need them to do something different, that I recognize that what I'm asking them to do is something scary. Like, I don't sit here and pretend like I want you to be a unicorn. It's all good. No. If you've ever watched any show that has a unicorn on it, they're usually trying to get the unicorn's horn and kill it or whatever, right? And so I recognize that in a room full of horses and jackasses, I'm asking you to be a unicorn. Be a unicorn. I want you to stand out so much that everybody's just like, oh, how do I get that? Which means that you can't just show up and say, I'm going to be your VA. No, you got to be like Crystal, the OBD, Operations Business Director with OCD. And you're right, we're going to leverage that. But, it is that. You need to be something bigger and bolder and just different from everyone else. Yes, Sarah, that's what they do, right? They try to put the horn in blood. That's what they do to them damn
pink sparklies. That's what it is. Sparklies.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of my favorite parts too is like watching people step into that next level version of themselves and really owning and like, okay, it feels a little bit scary and everything, but then watching them step into that and watch that transformation play out in just a short period of time over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite parts of the Academy.
Yeah, think about it. We're on our third class, and I'll use Sarah Khan since she's on here talking about drinking unicorn blood. Right. Sarah specifically helps people who are industry experts, so they're already at the top of that expert game, become thought leaders. Right. I mean, like, she's literally going to help people change how they talk, change how they think, change how they act, change how they behave, all the things so they can be a unicorn in their industry. She's building unicorns. That's what she's doing, right? Sarah, 2 weeks ago, was like, I have a method for this. I'm going to do this, right? And we talked about it. And she was, there was a little trepidation, but she's like, I know the work I got to do. There are things to do, right? Then like week 2, she's like, yes, that's what I'm doing. It's good. Week 3, she's like, I don't lose. And so right? It was just like,
right.
Hello? She's like, there's going to be thought leaders like you've never seen before. Like, all of a sudden, it opens a competition.
Yeah.
Opens a whole nother level. And what I love about our challenge is this. Our challenge, and this is 100% ego. Our challenge is not an individual challenge. It is not, Doug is trying to try to beat Donna, and Donna's going to try to beat Chanel, and Chanel's going to try to beat Doug. No, it's not that. It's like, okay, Sarah, pick your team. Right. Now you have, 5 people relying on you. And look,
she said, I do not lose.
Not lose. Right. And so now Sarah's sitting there going, okay, I'm picking these people on my team. And, she has her 5 or 6 people on her team. Right. And now it's a thing of, hey. Yeah, we're going to be on the call a little later. And nobody wants to let anybody else down. While there are individual winners, you are vying for the team as well.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to be the person who doesn't show up. I mean, literally, it's 3 weeks. You can't show up for 21 days for your business and your team.
Yeah.
Don't be honest, go get a job.
Enough for your team. And I love it because it definitely is competitive, but it's extremely collaborative as well. Because we found that the teams that really do the best are when they put their ideas together and say, okay, this what you do. This what I do well. How do we marry the two? Because in the 21 days, we break it up by professional development, relationship building, income generation. How do you earn points for that? And so we find that when the teams are very collaborative, they maximize the points across the team, but individually as well. Because they're like, yeah, I'm good at this, but you're better at that. How do we make it so that we both get points, but we get the maximum number of points?
Right. It causes them to own their lane.
I love too, Chanel, piggybacking on that collaboration. There's also these creative ideas that come from working together where they're taking some of these things that they start with and now they're playing with them and they're creating these new ways to connect with people, new ways to have these income producing conversations. And it's just like so cool because you can just see the mushroom of ideas just continually getting bigger and bigger. And then they start lighting up and they're like, oh my gosh, there's so many other ways that I can approach this thing that I used to be stuck on. Now I've got all these different tools in my toolbox.
Yeah, absolutely. I was chatting with Dawn earlier. So Dawn's in our academy. Dawn's also a Bo sister. So we'll be with her next week at the conference. And normally at a conference, you would go, you'll sit in the sessions, you might, meet some of your business besties, take notes. But I'm like, well, no, now you got the 21-day sales challenge. So it's game on, right? Now you got to look at Big Power Promise. Now I need you to have a digital business card so you can make connections, right? And literally her eyes open up like, you know what? You're right. Like I thought it was just a conference. It is a conference, but it's also an opportunity for you to really build and nurture relationships and create that momentum in your business too.
I think that's one of the things that happened in this challenge, right? And I think this is the brilliance of the FyreSavvy sales challenge of Sales Superstar. The brilliance of it is that it does create all these new opportunities that people weren't thinking before. Like we're like, hey, online speed networking. Like they're like, never did that before. Things that people hadn't thought about doing before. Now they're like, not only am I going to do it, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to get points for it. I'm going to make sure my team does it. I watched last night, Nick LaProsper, she decided that all of a sudden it went from, okay, team, we're going to need to get on WhatsApp because we don't have
right.
So we're on WhatsApp and we're going to do this, and then she had veterans coming through talking about this is what we did.
Nick pulled out her digital clipboard. It was like, no, ma'am. Get it together, people. Clipboard here.
Right. She was just like, we will be in first place. We will not be in third place. And that is for sure, So, and it's international. It's not like, Nick is in Thailand.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Nick is in Thailand. Sarah's in Canada.
Canada, right. Yeah, it's not like we got people, everybody's right around the corner. Like everyone's really working together. But that level of just 21 days of competition in a challenge. And here's what you got to think about. We have 21-day challenge, which is a team and individual competition within a sales academy. The only way to pull that off is to make a framework that's so easy to learn and so easy to adopt that by the third week, you can literally go and implement it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love is happening.
And make money.
Make money.
Yeah. And I love the intentionality because people have been doing some of these things before, but now they're doing them in a way where the intentionality is at an all-time high. And so they're really leveraging their time and getting such a greater return on that investment in time and energy and everything they're pouring into it.
Yeah, the light bulb moments start going off for sure.
Plus, they get prizes every week.
Yeah.
So you earn revenue, you get collaboration, a fun community, and you win prizes. A win is a win is a win.
It's a win.
A win is a win is a win. So we probably should have. Now we got 3 different ways y'all can get a hold of us because all 3 of us got different links. Doug is our FyreSavvy client concierge. Whatever you need FyreSavvy related, go to him.
FyreSavvy.net. That's Doug.
Yes. If you are watching this and you're like, you know what? I want to sell at a higher level. I want to increase my conversions. I want to have fun and win prizes too. Go to unmastermind.net. That's our in-person experience. It's coming up end of July. It's not just a conference and it's not just a retreat. It is a life-changing, game-changing experience for your business on how you approach sales, but quite honestly, how you approach community as well. How you approach community, how you approach really just showing up bigger in your business. And then I just put FyreSavvy.net/summer because we do have a summer series that's coming up. So it's literally like 3 ways that you can work with FyreSavvy right now. Mindset shifts with Doug. You can come hang out with us in a mansion in July, or you can hang out with us online through our virtual series as well.
Right. There's no need to be afraid of us. I stopped eating my young like a whole 2 weeks ago.
So there's that. So let me see if my little thing will work. No.
Oh.
All right. Well, cue the confetti. It's time to get off of here. Have a good rest of y'all day, y'all, and chat with you later. Wait. There we go. Doug is like, really?
I got nothing. Sorry, I got nothing.